Hey, what's up, simmers? So if you've done your homework, like I said in the previous episode, we're not fully ready to commit to the second stage of our building a cockpit program. So, I'm in my workshop. I hope you are eager to start working. Let's go. First of all, let me just say two things before we start work. First of all, I keep forgetting to add this on my videos. If you don't understand something that I said, because I know that my English is not so good, okay? I'll have the transcripts of everything I say down in the description part of this video. The second thing is work related. So we are going to work with some machines that might hurt you, okay? You need to be aware of that. Take caution at all times and keep your safety gear on, okay? Let's start.
Here is a list of things that we'll need for this project. White glue or wood glue, 2 pieces of MDF with a thickness of 3 mm and the dimension of 145 by 66 mm, access to a printer, transparent adhesive paper, an A4 sheet is enough, a pencil, a ruler, a drill or a mini drill, and some black paint. The very first thing that we are going to do is to navigate to this website, Hammer's F16 Simulator. The links are in the description below. Just click on panel layouts and here we'll find most of the F16 panel layouts. Okay, just look for yours and here is mine, the HUD layout. Save it and then print it. It's imperative that you print in good quality. If you don't have a good printer, ask someone to do it. If you like the work, please donate to the author to share your appreciation with his work. By now we have 2 pieces of MDF and 1 printed layout. Choose one of these pieces of MDF to draw a little rectangle on it. The way this rectangle is going to be drawn is with lines of 1 centimeter from the sides of the panel, and the panel will have an orientation that these smaller sides are going to be the lateral sides. So a 1 centimeter line from the sides like so, and a 2 centimeter line from the tops. So in the end result we are going to have something like this, okay? Leave the marks as they are in order to achieve a drawing of this sort. The next step in our project will be measuring the holes on our panel layout. We are going to measure them in order to get an exact location of where they are and transport them and draw them in our pieces of MDF. So measure the height and the length in which they are located and then draw them on our pieces of MDF like so. As you see, I've rounded up the corners of our pieces of MDF later to get a little work on them. Let me just apologize for the state of my panel layout. It had a little accident and so it's not in the best shape, but for this example it will work, okay? So now we have the same 3 elements that we did earlier, but now with more features. So we had the panel layout and the 2 pieces of MDF with some drawings on them and some markings that are very important. These markings, the holes, are very important to compare before drill them, okay? So just put one panel and the other, one piece of MDF and another side by side like so, and compare if the locations are similar, and also do it with the panel layouts. Now comes the part where we drill our corners. The front panel had the markings that I asked you to do it, so the little rectangular with the angular line on our corners. So let's just drill them and erase the corners. Basically we are going to erase the corners in order to make them a little more realistic. So I use a mini drill just because it's easier to reach these spots, and so just sand it and reach this kind of aspect, okay? when the four corners are sanded, you'll get something like this, which is relatively close to the real thing. Okay, so if you try and put them just for a simulation of the end result, you'll see that it's pretty close to the aspect of the real panels. We now have two options. You either glue the pieces of MDF together right now and then drill both the pieces later on, or you drill both pieces of MDF separately and glue them later. That all depends on the kind of drill that you are going to use. If it's powerful enough, just do it like I am doing and glue them together. It will save some minutes of work, and the holes are definitely going to match up. If you have a small caliber drill, just make the holes on the pieces of MDF separately and then glue them together. Either way, always remain caution to places where the glue has surfaced, and then just wipe it off with a piece of cloth or a piece of paper. Now comes the part where we drill our pieces of MDF. Like I said previously, I'm going to drill them both since I glued them together on a previous stage. Just find your X, find your markings, and just drill them. I usually make a small hole, a small incision on all of the holes I am going to do, and then later on I reach the full diameter of the hole. So in the end result we are going to have something like this. Okay, so it's going to be 8 holes, not 6 like I said on the first episode, my mistake, and just drill them any way you choose just to get to this end result. So you'll have a nice panel with 8 holes. If you have any problem with uneven sides, just sand it a little bit. Don't sand it too much, because then you'll might take a risk on compromising the dimensions of the panel. And now it's a good time for you to test your holes with your switches, the switches that hopefully you bought previously. And as you see, it's very important to have some switches for you to understand how they are going to look in the panel. Now our panel is ready to receive the paint job. I'm not going to advise you on which kind of paint to use, just because I'm not an expert on paintings. So I use an acrylic spray paint, which does the work for me, a couple of layers and it's ready. Pay special attention to the corners. It will be the areas on which the paint will be more visible, and so give it a special attention. While the paint dries, it's a good idea to get your print ready. As you see, I've cut the corners on the paper just to match the physical panel. Also, I've made an over proportion panel in the adhesive paper, just the regular measurements of the panel, but a couple of centimeters on the sides and on the top and bottom. When you see that the paint has dried and your panel is ready to be messed with, grab your adhesive paper and tear the paper a little bit just to show the gluing part. Okay, then line up your print with the adhesive paper with extreme caution. Don't let the paper, the print, get a hold of the glue unless it's in the right position. Okay, do it very carefully and very slowly. When you reach the perfect position, just tear the rest of the paper while gluing the panel. Okay, grab your physical panel and your printed panel also, and now join them. This is the easiest part. It's just glue the sides on the back panel. Make sure that when you glue them together, you use a bit of force just to prevent any pockets of air in the face of the panel. So the objective is to remain a stretched look, so it doesn't have any pockets of air. So use a bit of force and voila, it's ready. As you see, I haven't drilled the holes in yet, so this will be done shortly. Just drew the holes and you have yourself a good looking panel with little money on it and just a bit of work, not too much. As you see, it's a good looking panel.
And that's it, guys. There's nothing much to it. With a bit of work and creativity, and you've got yourself your first homemade panel for your home cockpit. Be sure to check out the next episode where we will wire and install the toggle switches for your homemade panel. Feel free to comment on any ideas or questions that you might have. I value all of your feedback. If you're interested, subscribe and leave a thumbs up. I'll see you later. Até já!